Good day. I'm Menachem Avichael for Trust in HaShem, and this is Fake News. Today is the 6th day of May in the year 2026 by the Gregorian calendar. It's the 19th of Iyar in the year 5786. It's also the 34th day of the Omer. Yes, we have just a short piece today. There's only 3 items, basically, and maybe a surprise 4th one. But I'm mainly doing this broadcast for the 3rd one. That's the main object of what I want to talk about. But first, we will start out with the Florida vaccine informed consent bill. As you might recall, I had previously talked about how Ron DeSantis had this bill introduced to make informed consent where a child could not be given any kind of a vaccine or medical treatment unless the parent consents to it. Sounds reasonable. Well, that bill's been killed in a special session by the legislature. The Florida State Legislature has decided, no. We still want the children of Florida to be the slave of the state. The state will decide what gets put in their body and what doesn't get put in their body. I've said this before. Slavery seems to be coming back in America, slowly but surely. Well, let's see if Ron can change this. I hope so, for America's sake, for Florida's sake. Nah, that's fake news. They would never do that. Come on. Only communists. Excuse me. Well, you remember this guy, Cole Allen? He was the gentleman who's been accused of attempting to shoot President Trump, and he did wind up shooting a Secret Service agent at a dinner that was being held. Well, this judge, I don't know if I'm going to get his name pronounced correctly. Really don't care if I do. Judge Zia Ferrugia, when Cole Allen's brought into the court, the judge apologizes to him for how he's been treated in jail. Yeah, I'm not saying this judge is, but there's a lot of judges that maybe they're mentally ill. Maybe they need to be taken off the bench because they've lost their mind. They need to go to a institution, psychiatry institution. Nah, it's fake news. No judge would do that. Come on. Let's get real. Well, Trump made history. Well, what's new about that? He makes history every day, it seems. But this is important news, important history that he made. President Trump is the first United States president, there's a fly seems to be going around. He's the first U.S. president to call for a national Shabbat day. That's right. President Trump did a White House proclamation. He signed it on May 4th of 2026, this year, just a couple days ago. And he designated the period from sundown on Friday, May 15th, through nightfall, Saturday, May 16th, as a national Shabbat, calling it Shabbat 250, in honor of the 250th anniversary of America independence. It'd be interesting if America actually, let me refresh your memory. You might recall, was it last week or within the last couple weeks, I did a podcast on, and in there I spoke about how Christianity was not following HaShem's rule on the Sabbath. That when Constantine was ruling Rome, one of the last rulers of Rome, he decided that he wanted to unite the religion of Rome in the kingdom. And he knew he couldn't change the pagans. They were sun worshipers. Their Shabbos was on Sunday. So he went to the Christian church and he convinced the Christian church to change the Sabbath. And the Christian church put an edict out saying anybody that did HaShem's, God's Sabbath on his day would be kicked out of the church. Basically, that's what it was. So they agreed, and Shabbos for Christians became Sunday, against Hashem's word. And then I spoke about how the Muslims said that Shabbos was only given to the Jews in the Torah. It wasn't given to the Muslims, so they didn't have to keep it on Friday night through Saturday sunset. They decided on Friday being their Shabbos. And I pointed out that that's not really true. The Jews were not the first ones to get the Shabbos. We go back to creation, right? 6 days of creation, and then Hashem ceased to create. And the seventh day was the Sabbath, this day of rest where he did no creation. Everybody is required to do the Sabbath on the seventh day. The entire world is, by Hashem's edict. By how Trump has done here, if the United States was to start doing the Sabbath nationwide, Hashem would bless America for decades, for centuries to come, for following his edict, for following his ways. Hashem likes that kind of stuff. You know, I'd like to make a personal appeal, if I may. This is to the Jewish people, to my brothers and sisters that are Jewish. You know, there's a way, right now, there's a lot of anti-Semitism, Jew hatred going around. Hatred of Hashem, hatred of God, really is what it is. The Jews are the blunt of this hatred of God. There's a way to stop it. The Jewish people actually can stop it from happening. And that is by doing two things. If the Jewish people would do these two things I'm about to say, all this anti-Semitism, this hatred of God would stop in the world. And what is that? It's not if 50% of all the Jewish people, not 75 or 80%, not 90%, not even if 99.99999% of all the Jews in the world did what I'm about to tell you, would it stop. Only if 100% of every single Jew did what I'm about to say. And what is that? Very simple. To keep 2 Shabboses in a row. If 100% of all the Jews in the world, all of them, not just here in Israel, not just in America, not just in Europe, or in South America, or in Africa, all the Jewish people throughout the 4 corners of the world kept 2 Shabboses in a row, all that hatred would automatically die by Hashem's will. I'm Menachem Avichael for Trust in Hashem. This has been fake news and some true news. Have a good Shabbos.